My name is Richelle Allison Scott. A lot of people know me as RichelleGemini. I am a poet. I am a rapper, singer, songwriter, a vegan chef, and most importantly, a mama. I'm from Houston, Texas. But at the same time, I've been everywhere in Texas. So from out the womb to 12 years old, Southwest Side, 6633 West Airport. That's where I was at. And then we ended up moving to Lamarck, Texas. And so for my middle school years, I was at Lamarck, and then I went to Mainland Preparatory Academy. And then right after Lamarck, my dad was just like, you ain't going to Lamarck High School at all. So he said, you're going back to Pearland. So I ended up finishing out in Pearland, and University of North Texas, that's where I went next. Denton, right above Dallas. So I've been everywhere I could be, like, for real. And I just love Texas, but H-Town, where I'm from. Well, I started in poetry. So 2007, I'm going to college at University of North Texas, and I was like, I'm gonna be a broadcast journalist. I'm gonna be a weather anchor. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, this is what my parents set me up to do. Perfect. That's what I'm gonna do. No, I realized I was just like, there's so much propaganda in the news. I can't do this. I can't just talk about sad stuff all day. So I ended up joining, like, my freshman year, a group called The Cast. And we created our own plays because they didn't have enough black representation at the University of North Texas in their theater department. I ended up doing a monologue for the Alphas at this thing called Cool Breeze, and I wrote it as a monologue, like I was part of an acting club. But they were like, you were the poet. You were the poet. And I was just like, no, I just did a monologue, love. And they're just like, no, that was poetry. And I was just like, oh yeah? I was like, y'all might like some of this stuff I wrote in the book then. And I only wrote the book because my cousin used to play beats in the car driving me in high school. And he used to be like, come on, freestyle with me. And I'd be like, oh my God. Okay, I'll freestyle. It's your girl, Michelle. I done came down. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, you really go hard. Like, once you start getting into it, you start going. I'm just like, oh yeah, you think I go hard? So I used to go home. I'd be like, I'm going to get him next time. And like, I get stuff ready. I memorize stuff because I already knew he was going to play beats. So I had a whole book when I went to college. And then when people started hearing, like, bro, you're a poet for real. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm a poet. By 2010, I went to nationals for slam. And then I came back, and it was just like, you really be rapping too, so go ahead and put it on the beat. And I was just like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the beat. All right, why not? 2011 to 2012, I was just rapping. I started opening up for Kirko, I opened up for Dero, and that's when they was like really popping at that time. And I was just like, all right, I'm really doing this. Pregnant. I was like, oh man, I don't think I could be rapping pregnant. So I ended up moving back to Houston from Dallas, and I had my first son, and I told myself whenever my son turned 3 or 4, I'll get back into it. And I knew I was great, so I was just like, it's inevitable if I just do it again and just start back over. And now from 2016 all the way to here, me sitting in this seat, I've been going hard. Y'all been seeing what's going on, and if you haven't seen what's going on, you could tap in on all platforms. I have an LLC, Yellow Brick Road Entertainment, so I'm under myself, and that's of course the business. You have to understand your own music, you have to own your own stuff. They teach us that all the time, but sometimes when people flash you money and you need that money at the moment, I can see why people, get into certain contracts. Because me, I worked at the hospital at Memorial Hermann, and I stayed in that, and that was a contract that I really don't agree with. I don't think I should get paid a certain amount just to do this, and but you agree to it because it's like, I got benefits, I got insurance. So me now, like as a businesswoman, it's food and entertainment. Constantly food and entertainment, and I find ways to put that stuff together. Also understanding, like, I'm a liaison as well. I've linked up a lot of people with different people, and now I'm getting paid to be a liaison, and that's with a tech company that I'm working with right now called Grady. If anybody needs a QR code menu, let me know, because this is they're creating basically a Silicon Valley inside of Houston, which I love. That's where we headed. We can't stop it. It's like me trying to say, no, I don't want to get on TikTok, and you're an artist, and you have to you have to understand, as an artist and a business person, you have to stay on the wave. You can't just be like, no, I'm staying right here in the analog and we already, in virtual reality. You have to understand the times and understand that in each platform, you could be lucrative. In each platform, you could find peace. It's when you let the platform take over you. I tell people all the time, these platforms, you can use them as tools or you can use them as fools. There's a lot of people using them as fools. So you have to understand your purpose, understand your passion, understand your why, and that makes you successful, I feel like, business-wise. The money gonna come if you pay attention to the quality of what you're putting out. So my food, again, working with the tech company, my music, also, finding different collaborations as well. I've done a collaboration with Carla Sue. That's how me and Mr. Qualified Song himself, met, and we did a shirt and it says, "Pardon my pollen, I'm blooming." It's, of course, if I write, I should definitely team up with someone that does greeting cards, t-shirts, and everything, because when you do collaboration, that's elevation. Everybody shouldn't have to do everything by themselves. And as a business person, you should learn that too. You can't do it all by yourself. And I'm grateful for my village. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know. I don't know what I would do without them. And I'm appreciative of it. I feel grateful because I know everybody has geniuses within them. And it's up to them to find that full potential of it. And mine just happens to be that I get to be this vessel that gets to do this. So I'm constantly grateful because I remember when I was in college and I used to be like, I wonder if I'm going to come up with something better than that. Like, that was good. I don't know if I can do something better than that. And then, I'm like, what should I write about? I want to always give myself as much as I can. So I read and I research, and it feels almost like a teacher who got a whole lesson plan together and tried to say it as cool as possible to everybody to see if they will grasp it and maybe gain something from it, whether they either love, laugh, or learn something like that. That's how it feels. And I tell artists all the time, because they'll be like, Richelle, you just get to be yourself and you just get to do this. And I'm like, you don't think I had to grind? Like, I had to grind for a very long time just being myself. I got told several times, like, hey, you gotta try that trap shit, girl. Like, just maybe do a little trap this, trap that. And I'm just like, love, that's not me. Like, I could get on the trap beat, but I'll still talk about what I want to talk about. So, the feeling is literally, I tell other artists that are being themselves, I tell them, I was just like, do not let students grade your work. Don't let students grade your work. There's going to be cool kids out there. There's going to be the people that, that die out from being the cool kid, because if you control by the masses, then the masses going to rule you. But if you control yourself, baby, nobody can say nothing about you. They can pull up something and be like, yeah, that's me. That's still me. So what now? And I often I call it the teacher's lounge, where I have to talk to some people and I'm just like, no, keep doing you. Don't get mad that they looking at you in the story and they not liking your stuff on the post or whatever like that. Like, I've had talks with people. I'm like, let them see it, because you might be planting the seed and later on they're going to be like, you know what? I really mess with you because you really helped me whenever I wanted to do this. And, they just didn't express it on the because you have to understand, the ego of this world is crazy right now. Like, it's at an all-time high. The ego is so crazy. So I don't take nothing personal. That's like a rule of life. Like, you should never take anything personal. Only thing you should take personal is the people that are close in your circle, because you should have expectations for them. I want people in my close village and circle to have expectations for me, because I am that person that they can depend on to be myself, for sure. So, yeah, man, like, artistry, I just feel grateful to be this vessel. That's all I feel. I want to say that I have received help every time it was time. And even if me and the person, don't talk anymore, or don't stay in touch anymore, the time that we did create and the time that we did spend was very great. And I always created art. And I remember just being like, hey, I really would like to, this is me manifesting. I really would like to work with a producer, and I wish they would have a studio, because right now I'm a single mom. I can't afford too much studio time right now. But if somebody just seen my artistry and was just like, man, I'm gonna work with you, that happened. And then it happened on another scale. And then I started realizing, like, I do want to pay for my studio time now. Now I can afford it. And now I know I can get this on time. Now I know I can get this mastered and mixed. I know how much it costs for me to put together a whole project. So I really have enjoyed every phase of it. So I haven't felt like it was like hard. Yes, I've had certain challenges where, you know, you think like, oh, this person about to invest in me, or this person about to do this for me, or this person. I would tell every artist, like, just wait till it happens. Don't get too excited, because when it do happen, oh, it's gonna be even much more exciting. Because when you have expectations for people that don't owe you nothing, it really messes with you, especially like in your 20s. But now, you know, in my 30s, I'm like, oh, wait, we're going to see if that happens. If that happens, it's going to be great. And if it doesn't happen, still going to be great. Let's just see if it happens, you know? So I'm always constantly just like, I'm excited about that. That sounds great. Let's see what happens. So, and I'm always the one on my side doing my due diligence. Like, are we still doing this? All right, bet. Cool. Let's do it. Like, I'm always ready. Like, working. Besides being with my kids, like, working is like my favorite thing. I do not like being like just idle time. My words, I don't like them being idle. My time, I don't like it being too idle. I will enjoy sitting down for a little bit or a little rest, meditation, but I like to be on the move. So, everything, like I said, my words, I don't like them to be idle. I don't like, you know, my time to be idle, and everything that I put on me is not idle. Like, the gyms are for balance. They're not just for looks. Like, it's both sided, you know. Well, except the grill. I guess the grill is for look. I'm a Gemini for real on both sides. I like it to look right though. But I'm very, everything that I like to put on, I like it to be either something that is even this green right now, you know, I'm about to be 33, so we're going into a whole nother level of like elevation, and I feel the rise coming in me. I summon it to my life even more. So that's why I was like, yes, the green, yes, the gold. Like, this is time. I always had my own style. I never really looked at different stuff. Like, even when things would come about, I would just be like, oh, that's what everybody is doing now? That's what's up. They should do that. That's cool. I don't like wearing too much clothes. My dad doesn't like that. He'll be like, Shelly, you don't have to wear that. And I'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, don't have to do it. He was like, no, you're so beautiful. You don't have to do all that. I'm like, it's hot outside. I am not trying to wear all of this stuff, Dad. And I can't help that I look like this. You made me, man. I look like you, so stop playing with me. Anywho, and I was like, but that, and I'll be telling my dad, like, I still get respect on these streets. Ask about me, Dad. He'll know. He'll know soon enough, but he don't know. But it's crazy because, like, me and my dad's a pastor, and I'm spiritual. And even telling him that, like, was like, what? Where have you been? You're not coming to church? And that's after having 2 kids out of wedlock, two different baby daddies. And my dad is like, where have you been going? And I was like, to yoga. And he's like, oh, no, not my daughter. But that's the moment when I started figuring out, 2016, I was like, I don't want to perm my hair. I want to see my natural hair. I want to be able to, you know, embrace my beauty, embrace my, understand my skin, understand what I should put on my skin, understand that there's beauty in naturalness. Like, it's okay, baby. Like, no, you might not be like all like that, but there is beauty in your own shape. There is beauty in the way that you were made. Like, you shouldn't have to do all that work. It shouldn't work that hard. You should work hard on this inside thing that you got inside you. And then when anybody see you, they already going to see the beautifulness from the inside, instead of just being like, well, you know, she fixed this and fixed this. I guess she do look bad, but then they meet you and it's like, what's on the inside? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I just try to be as natural as possible, but she beat my face. She did that. So I was in college and I was just like, they have what? Slam poetry in Dallas? You pay $10 and you go win $100? I was like, I'm a competitor. But not like a crazy competitor where I'm just like, I gotta win, I gotta get to da 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 da. It was just like, oh, it's right in Dallas. I can go do that and get $100. That's what's up. And I would go there and I would battle. Oh, it would be so much fun. And I remember they were just like, Richelle, you want to go to nationals? I'm like, no, I don't want to go to nationals. Y'all doing too much. I was like, I'm just over here in college, coming to slam, having a good time. And the guy called me. He was just like, we don't have enough slammers tonight. Can you come through? And I was just like, sure. I got there and it was crowded. It was packed. And he was like, Richelle, this is regionals. Like, you got to go in. He was like, you already have a ticket to nationals. All you got to do is just make it and they're going to pay for you to go. And I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. And I did it, and I ended up going to Minnesota, and I was with the Dallas Slam team, and we went and got top 20 in the nation, 2010, and came back, and I was like, I remember being like, oh man, I want to be on Def Jam. I ended up working with so many Def Jam poets that I just, you know, to the point where I'm like, man, I could really just talk to these people now that is like nothing, and they're like some of the most brilliant people I've ever met. Also working, like going back and forth, I would come to Houston and do a lot of the spots out here in Slam. Shout out to Seven, shout out to Black Snow. Black Snow named me Gemini. And I was just not going for it. I was like, my name's Richelle. And he was just like, no, your name is Gemini. And I had did this poem and he was just like, this is it right here. And I said, I have 2 lives in one, but you can call me Gemini. Can handle more conflict than the grounds of Philippi. Spit fire on the wings of others' dreams, call them Icarus, because they'll never fly. Float, soar, or hover. Anybody with weak heart or prone to motion sickness, take cover, because my words are sick words that are filled with motion, fill verbs. Word, the 3rd sign of the zodiac, but it's obvious by the way that I act. But what does that mean? Totality, definition. I got split personalities, and my 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 split personalities. That's the reality into an atomic fantasy. Boom. But that's just my theory. Though it sounds quite insane, hasn't yet been proven wrong, but when it is, I won't admit it because I'm too vain. I possess yin and yang. My mind is always wandering from here to Spain, wondering how I could cure hunger, but still maintain and realize that my name, shoot, I used to almost only have a dime, but still try to breach poverty. Where does anyone find the time, especially for someone who's always in a hurry? But it's thanks to the ever-flowing energy of Mercury. Somebody that murdered me. It's obvious I can't die. Blessed soul, thou art Gemini. With the power to turn any frown into a grin. All hell, the greatest pair of twins. I can be calm as the sea and flow with the wind. But still at the same time, a fierce feline. David dared not enter this lioness' den. I have the courage of 1,000 men. I'm sweet as an angel, but prone to sin. I'm a Gemini twin, 2 of a kind now. Watch as my cosmic atmosphere dances with your mind, and I tell my own future through my palms lines, and my skin's dense identifies the earth with its fingerprints. I can feel the earth's vibration is humming to me like a sweet mother's lullaby. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, my little Gemini. But I feel I can only rest when I die. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I stay in the poetry, branches from dawn to dusk, writing syllables that symbolize real life scenarios. Can be compared with a hero and as super as Mario. Do. But don't play with me, because I'm far from a game. I'm against being bored. So put away all dice and cards because you can't win. And once you think you got me, I really got you. So think again, try and pretend you didn't get outwitted by the terrible twins. Adaptable in any situation, watch our outer shells blend. Flexible in a stubborn generation, watch us bend. Have a forever going intellectual capacity, watch it extend. I am the details of the great story. So once upon a time, in the end, and for every Gemini who didn't know that you should be looked up at to the utmost highest, drive to Dallas with all this gas prices, like $100. Dinner in the movie, $150. But conversation with a Gemini, priceless. I grew up with some screws loose. I see you as dolls, my words as pins. I poke you, move voodoo. Found God with blues clues. He told me dragon, spit fire for Mulan. In a man's world, I'm Mushu. Small but crucial. Show a woman what she can do. Tupman above ground, freedom for women, but it's mental. To hide from purpose is sinful. I be a vessel, open my head, pour out words, God. Make it simple. Provide me a stencil. Words come by the pencil. I'm grateful, stay grateful. Sting like bee, sweet as maple. Baby mama, thought queen, defy labels. Woman, thou art able. Provide food for thy table. With a good man, stay faithful. Remove everything that's hateful. Stay uncomfortable, take appraisals. Don't compare, but move when God say to. Hop on my track. This train is stable. This train is stable. My dad had kicked me out 2016 with my kids because I wasn't going to church. And he said, after me in my house, we will serve the Lord. He was like, so you got to be out by the end of the month if you're not going to go to church. And I was like, well, I guess I got to find a way to get out. So my project is called As For Me in My House. That's it. Just music for your temple. And then my cookbook is called As For Me in My House, We Will Serve Veggies. So, I appreciate my dad though, because I know they were just trying to make sure I get into heaven. That's how I look at it. And I was just like, oh, because this is all y'all know. So, I appreciate them so much. And, you know, I believe everything that they're doing is right. I just feel like everybody has, in religion, it's like spirituality, but like designer spirituality. Like, what you wearing? That Baptist? What you wearing? That Catholic? What you wearing? That Pentecostal? Okay, you wearing that Episcopal? I see you, bro. Like, you know, but the goal is love and treat people with respect and kind. Be kind and be kind to the earth. Like, while we here, why can't we just all be cool? Like, we gotta make shit crazy. Anyway, but while we here, of course, be yourself. Like, do not push yourself down for nobody. And that made me come up with the song. It's called Hint of Humility. And it's like, humility when I'm at the school. Humility when they act the fool. Humility when I'm at the job. Humility when they act the fraud. Humility when I talk my talk. Humility when I walk my walk. Humility when I prove a point. Humility when I smoke my joint. Humility when they cut the check. Humility cause I know I'm blessed. Humility but I still impressed. Humility or I'm overdressed. Humility can't help I'm fly. Humility, oh, is that your God? Humility when I know I knew. Humility when I bang my screw. Humility, humility, humility. I try to practice humility, humility, humility. But I'm a bad bitch. Humility, humility, humility. I'm nothing average. Humility, humility, humility. I try to practice. I do my best at practicing it, but I'd be like, you know what is going on. You know who I am. Leave me alone. Let me do me. Every time I finish a set, my goal is that we learned a little, we laughed a little, and we loved a little more on ourselves. Because if you love yourself, you're going to properly love everybody else. You're going to come to everybody correct because you feel correct within yourself. And if somebody don't come to you correct, you're going to be like, what's wrong with them? That's crazy. I don't think it's okay. Like, you let it go. So I always end it off with telling everybody I love y'all. But most importantly, love yourself. Peace.